The Turbo Boost event is now live, and what does that mean for everybody? Well, it means you're going to be gearing out real quick here. You're also getting your Cartel chips today, which means you're going to be spending at least your first 3. You're getting your first 3 today. I'm going to give you the idea of what the best items for your class specifically are to use, your class and spec, as well as interesting things about heroic and mythic upgrade tracks, upgrade for currency exchanges. Obviously, we're getting the delve improvements today as well, and crafted gear updates. Let's dive straight into all this stuff. So, Classic Time Walking, also, by the way, if you didn't know, went live today. So, Classic Time Walking, taking you through all the classic dungeons that were previously available during the anniversary event. Look, here's the thing. Classic Time Walking will give you a 50% bonus reputation buff to your previous old vanilla reputations. It might be something you might want to grind out for player housing purposes. They might have some reputational bound things that you'll be able to buy for your houses. Could be a thing that you end up wanting to use. Other than that, there's the Cache of Undermined Treasures, which will give you a 636 item level piece of gear if you complete the quest for it. So go out, do that. There is the Reigns of the Hippogriff. All this stuff came out during the anniversary event, so maybe you got some of it, maybe you didn't. But this Classic Time Walking event is now live once again. The Triple Threat title is now available as well. If you are a Mythic Plus runner who enjoys running with multiple alts, all you have to do to get this title, the Triple Threat will be your title, if you run a plus 10 or higher using a tanking spec, a healing spec, and a DPS spec. You'll have to complete the key, and once you do that, with all 3 classes, you will get this Triple Threat title. Now, this title was not previously available, so this is not a retroactive title. You will have to do it starting today or beyond today to get this title. Do it if you're, I don't know, if you're a druid, you can literally do this all on one tune. But running through these things, Gilded of Undermined discount upgrades check. Here's the thing, guys. You get a discount upgrade for having a certain item level, right? There's the achievement that you get for having 675 item level. This will allow you to unlock, certain discounts for upgrading your items. The thing is, what's been discovered here is this not only checks your average item level, which needs to be at 675 to unlock the discount to begin with, but it also checks each individual slot. So if you're still holding a ring that's below 675 item level, you will not be able to get the discount on your other ring. Same goes for trinkets. So those 2 slots in particular are very important. You'll have to have a trinket and a ring for both of those slots that are sitting at the correct item level to get the discount. So, you're going to be getting some interesting stuff now from your Cartel chips. Maybe you're still holding out for your Jaster diamond ring. You want to fill that with one of your slots. Once you've hit 675, you will start to get the discounts, and crests are completely unlocked now, uncapped, which is nice for this as well. You won't have to use as much crest. You'll be using Valor Stones to upgrade. Once you get this, the discount will apply based on item level slots, so be careful with your rings and your trinkets. Moving on to the uncapping of crests and what it means today for exchanges. Well, exchanges will now, be more relevant. Previously, when you exchange things, it applied to your cap, so it was kind of annoying. Moving forward from now on, it's completely uncapped. So exchanging all of your old crests, maybe you've been banking them this entire time. I have a ton of old crests that I've been sitting here banking. Converting them today is a good idea because the crest cap no longer applies. So you can convert. Again, you lose some crests when you upgrade. You get 15 of the higher level 1 for exchanging like 45 of the previous level 1. But it's a great way to kind of start upgrading your gear and pushing those item levels higher. Obviously now we got another, 6 item levels in total. So that's really good. Pushing those upgrade levels and pushing those item levels higher. Moving on to the Hot Sauce Raid consumable. That's right. Doing Undermine this week will unlock the Raid Track Renown slot 12, which will give you the Continental Hot Sauce. What does this thing do? It gives you extra damage. So it's going to give you this little proc here that's going to go off. And this thing will do about 110k DPS, damage, I should say, for you. It'll shoot some hot sauce out from the front. This buff will shoot and proc more often the more things you have. And by things, I mean food, flask, and potion buffs. Every time you attach one of these, you increase the chance of this thing proccing by another 33%, up to 100%. So if you're fed, flasked, and potioned up, you have a 100% chance of this thing proccing. Now, overall, it gives you about 13k DPS, which is less than 1% for a fully, geared out, maxed out player. that it's a little bit of something. I mean, why not? A little bit extra 1% is not too bad of a thing. Sam, you already do maximal emotional damage. That's true. That's true. But the hot sauce will add a little bit of DPS to that. Not to mention, don't forget to pick up your weekly raid quest. So you're going to get this little hot sauce thing by talking to Mickey here. But you can also pick up your weekly raid quest before you enter raid this week to get your puzzling Cartel dinar. Now, where are you going to pick this thing up? Just at the entrance of the bank. So make sure you head over to your bank over here. You'll pick up the quest for the puzzling Cartel dinar chip. Now, again, this is going to be something that you use to purchase some best-in-slot items for your toon. The thing is, you need 3 of them to purchase an item. This week's quest will give you 3 automatically. Now, to complete the quest, you got to kill 4 Liberation of Undermined bosses on normal or higher. Depending on which difficulty you've been killing bosses at is going to also depend on which items you can buy, right? So, going in, killing 4 bosses, or doing 4 Mythic Plus dungeons will complete the quest for you. Picking it up in front of the bank is a good idea before you start anything this week. Using those puzzling cartel chips is going to be very important going forward, and these are your best items to buy per class. What's up, Unreal Blue? So looking at the classes here, there's a long list. I'll link this in the chat, and I will link this below the video as well. But starting here with Blood DKs, obviously, we see a best in slot being a good purchase for Blood DK Unholy as well. There's going to be a couple items that fit a lot of these classes. I'm not going to read every single item for every single class, but Eye of Kazan looks like a great one no matter what your spec tier. Best in slot is going to be one I get. Tomb of the Light's Devotion. Okay, yeah, great for Blood DKs. Moving on here to best Demon Hunter ones. We see that it looks like Jaster's Diamond Ring. It's going to be a great one for almost everybody. You're noticing it here. There's a theme. The Jaster Diamond Ring is going to be a best-in-slot ring for almost every single class, and one that probably a lot of people will purchase. Also for Demon Hunters, it looks like the improvised Seerfirm Pacemaker is going to be one, whether you're Vengeance or Havoc, that you're going to want to get. These are ranked, by the way, kind of in the way maybe you should be purchasing them. Obviously, individually, if you're lacking in a certain slot, that might be the better slot to buy this week. But for now, these are the rankings of the items if you just were sitting doing absolutely nothing. Best in slot items. Best in slot here is for Feral, Guardian, and Balance the weapon here. You can craft an item. We know that Cadence, loves to craft out there in chat. You can craft a weapon, but when it comes to raid, best in slot has been the best in slot for a lot of two-hander classes here. So 3 of the Druid classes here love to use the best in slot weapon. And then obviously, as I said, the Jaster Diamond Ring, a really good one for all the Druid specs as well. Moving on to Evoker. We see best in slot showing up again. Yeah, two-hander weapon, of course. Also, Eye of Kazan being one across the board that no matter what your spec is for Evoker, you're going to want to get that one as well. Hunter. Eye of Kazan showing up for a Beast Mastery. The Jaster Diamond Ring showing up for all of them. The improvised Seerform Pacemaker. By the way, I have this one from Raid. Great trinket. It's a really good one. And House of Cards has been a favorite for a lot of them. You're going to notice this one showing up for a lot of classes to purchase with their Cartel dinars as well. Noah Moishi is retarded. Made it sound entirely wrong. What did I say? What did I say? I'm going through this list here. It's a very important thing. I'm a man of the people, and I'm supplying the people with information today. For Mage, you're going to want to get the Mugs Moxie Jug. Whether you're Fire or Arcane, that is the #1 shit show that you should be grabbing right now. On top of that, it looks like that one also works for Frost as a second slot. I have Kazan working for either of these either, and then, of course, the Diamond Ring working for Arcane as well. For Brewmaster and all the other monks out here, we see Tomb of the Light's Devotion working. It's a really good tank trinket. It was one of the best in slots for Blood DKs as well. Also looking at the Diamond Ring and then the improvised serum from Pacemaker. It's going to keep showing up, guys. It's a good trinket. You're noticing a theme here, maybe. Kazan only good on the last 2 fights, really, for Evoker. Interesting. Best Paladin Cartel chips. Here it is. For Paladins, yes, the Jaster Diamond. I already knew this was one that Paladins were always going for in the raid. So no surprise here that no matter what your spec is for Paladins, you're going to want to go get that Jaster Diamond Ring. Also the improvised Seerform Pacemaker is one that you're going to want to get. And then it looks like Eye of Kazan here showing up, but not for the other specs. Reverb Radio. So there's a little bit of a mix around here for the 4th and 5th ones you should be purchasing. But this week, I would assume most Paladins that don't have the Diamond Ring already are going to go ahead and buy that one. Seaforium, oh, who cares? Seaforium, Seaform, see the forum, I don't care. Best Priest Cartel chips. Mr. Pick Me Up looks like the one for Holy Priest and Disciplined Priest. The Jaster Diamond Ring showing up for all three, but more importantly for Shadow Priest being the first one that you should purchase. Other than that, House of Cards, of course, I noticed that one. An important one that's showing up here for Discipline and Shadow. And then purchase the rest of them as you see fit. Best Rogue. Let's see here. I'm not surprised. House of Cards showing up here as well for Sub Titty and Ass. Outlaw Rogue, Capo's Molten Knuckles will be your first purchase. House of Cards here, and the Jaster Diamond for Ass. Moving on to Shaman. Eye of Kazan, the Jaster Diamond for enhancement. Master Pick Me Up for Restro, Eye of Kazan being the one for Elemental Shaman. Best in Slot also showing up as the weapon of choice for Elemental as well. House of Cards showing up here too for Elemental and Enhancement. And then Restoration, yeah, the Muggsy Moxie Jug and the Eye of Kazan. Yeah, no surprise there. Finally, Warlock here. We see Affliction Warlock, House of Cards being the #1 purchase no matter what your spec is. Go get the House of Cards this week, guys. Demonology, Destro, and Affliction getting that. If you already have it, it looks like the Muggsy Moxie Jug is your second choice. Are these the same across the board? Almost completely, yeah. So Affliction and Destro have the same exact best in slots, while Demonology sees Sticks of Metal, Detector, and Eye of Kazan showing up as the 4th and 5th purchases here. Too bad the Crafting Weapon will outscale the Heroic version. Well, Crafting did get big upgrades this week too, so yeah, maybe Crafting the Weapon is still the way to go if you like to cheat in this game. If you're a man of honor and you've chosen not to participate in the crafting system, then best in slot weapon is the best way to go. And then we see finally here the best Warrior Cartel chip purchases. Best in slot showing up for Furry and Arms Warriors. And then Protection sees the Titan of Industry being the one to purchase this week. The Jaster Diamond Ring being one that's important for all three specs, as well as House of Cards. And then a little bit of a mix around here at the end. Again, I'll link this down below and in the chat for anybody who wants to check this list out and make sure they're purchasing the correct things every single week. Moving on to some interesting stuff about the Puzzling Cartel chip Myth Track requirements. It is not a warband bound thing. So here's the thing. Whichever thing you want to get, the thing is a thing. You're going to want to make sure that you've killed the Myth Track boss on that specific character if you want the Myth Track item. So you can't use the Cartel chips to purchase anything basically that you haven't killed already in the game. If you're killing Mythic level bosses on a certain character, you will only unlock the Myth Track Cartel chip items on that specific character. This is not a warband bound thing, so you won't be able to quickly gear out your ults by using these things. This also applies to Mythic plus 12 or higher. So that will unlock the ability to purchase Myth Track gear on certain characters. You have to have done those Mythic Plus dungeons on that specific character. That is not cross-faction warband bound either. But there it is. And then finally, patch 11.1.7 development notes here for May 13th. The Greedy Emissary event is now in testing. Yes, the Greedy Emissary we already know is returning to Stormwind, Orgrimmar, Dornogal, and Undermine. At the top of the hour, every hour, this thing will be popping out, giving you a chance at some really cool gear. We saw the recolors of the Tier 2 sets, as well as some really cool mounts. So go out there, test it if you're on the PTR, and if not, hey, just wait for this thing to go live when it does with 11.1.7, and try to get all the gear you can. That is all in terms of news.